total divas, total bellas, and all that stuff that's going on. But I just feel like you can have your friends backstage, but you can hang out with them, and then when the selfie's taken, you can just walk off. You don't actually have to be involved in those moments. It's getting to the point now as well where you expect to see them on an airplane, kind of just like sitting next to each other and chatting, like on the way to the arena to fight each other in a brutal kind of match.
I mean, it's true. I mean, back in the day they had a heels bus and a face bus because they never wanted them to ever be, next to each other. I mean, that's how protected it was. In Japan, they still do that. I mean, that's still a big thing. But in WWE, for some reason, you see some of these car journeys, even on Ride Along, they've had heels and faces. I mean, there's no limit now. They just film it all, regardless of even if you see them out. You don't need that anyway, because they're basically on telly. I've seen Table for Threes where, you're thinking, what? They were just in a feud with each other. Like, what the hell's going on? And, it's almost now like WWE is saying that they're making a rod for their own back because they are educating fans to think a different way. And when fans are turning up to shows, they're not watching the show anymore. They're watching what they think they've heard should be happening in that ring, which is the wrong way to go to a wrestling show. And it's probably why when I went and watched Progress Wrestling, I actually enjoyed it because I didn't know anything and I didn't hear all these guys out of the ring and all the rest of it. And I do, I might have known a few of them, but like, I was just watching the characters play out. I mean, especially with that brutal match we saw, Matt, I think it would have taken me out of the mode if I'd have seen them two guys, Havoc and what's his name? I forgot the guy's name now. From Southend, what's that? Let me credit him. What was his name? That's it, Paul Robinson. Yeah, I mean, if we'd have seen him string up a selfie after or hit the after party together, that would have been like, what the hell? What are you doing? But, in WWE, you think that's probably the sort of thing that is going on at the moment. And I can't understand why they'd think that's a good idea. But anyway, we could go on all about this all night. So, summing it up, like I said, it really took me out of the mode with those photos and social media stuff afterwards. But there you go. We will see. I'm sure it will only stay the same with the current climate of stuff. Now, of course, last week, Matt, some very, very sad news hit us. And I think, for this podcast, we talk about this guy Roman Reigns, and we've always had a bit of fun, harmless fun about Roman in the past, and he has always created that whole thing of we can't stand him and we hate him, and he does get that, he gets people's blood boiling, and so he's been a big fixture of our podcast, even back to the Wrestling Skull. He was pretty much, for a lot of time, our main topics. But the great support we had from everyone, including people that had definitely had goes at him in the past, was incredible. We had some great feedback. I was gonna, at the time, I was gonna dedicate a show to him, but we couldn't do it. But because of the amount of response that we had from you guys, but I want you to know that we had all those stuff. And obviously, Matt, the announcement come on Raw last week, Roman come out to the ring and announcing that he would be battling now with leukemia, had come back up for him. Obviously, Matt, a sad sort of part for Roman Reigns here, because he's in his prime, I guess, as a champion. He's He's not had it easy in wrestling terms to get to this level, from the crowds and whatnot. And regardless of what we all think of Roman Reigns, I think that there is always, at least I think from myself, and I think I can talk from Matt as well here, but I'm sure he'll tell me if not. But I think we've always had the consensus, Matt, that it's more about the people booking Roman Reigns that we really dislike, other than Roman Reigns. It's the whole way he was put there, and he's just like shove him down your throat type thing has always been there, that sort of ethos about him. But I feel, overall, we always do not mind Roman, and if anything, he's sort of grown on us a little bit as star power. But sad news, Matt, coming out of this. Was you? Did you think the whole thing with them doing that and then obviously going into a breakup of the Shield was that a correct thing to do, or was it a little bit too soon? And were WWE sort of kind of like using that as a way of having this with more impact? I mean, what did you think about it? Because people have been a little bit divided about it, and they said like it was a little bit out of place to do it on the same night, and they didn't think it was really necessary. And would that have been the case had Roman not have made that announcement? And I'm not too sure, if I'm honest. What did you think, Matt? And obviously your feelings in general about the whole thing.
Well, yeah, I feel like this is one of those things that ties in with what we were speaking about just now, and the fact that a lot of the reality-based stuff is too intertwined with the story-based stuff. But this is one of those moments where it does really genuinely affects you, and you actually do feel the raw emotion of the situation. And Roman's a guy who's put a lot of hard work in, and we've always been very respectful of the guy. I mean, I don't think we've ever bashed him, to any degree. But just to have his dream cut short, I mean, we all hoping and praying, this guy will come back stronger than ever.
Absolutely.
But, this is a very serious condition, so you just have to see and just hope for the best, really. But the whole breaking up of the Shield. I mean, when Roman left, the Shield essentially was broken up, so I can see why they have done what they have done and gone the route of breaking it up. But it does feel like that, although that is a shocking moment to see Dean do what he did, it would almost be just as powerful to have that moment of solidarity and say, okay, we'll all, each three of us on this, have them lose that tag team match and say, we'll all three go our separate ways.
Yeah.
One day we will reunite. That would be a more powerful message, I think. But it just seems like generating sympathy for Seth. Potentially, maybe they see Seth as the next guy to turn to as the face of the company, perhaps.
And watching it this week, I've got to say I wasn't really overly impressed with the way they played it. I did like Dean Ambrose. I felt like he played it okay, and I liked the fact they left it on a cliffhanger, because you don't want to just give that whole thing away. But I felt like the way Seth Rollins come out, like why was he smiling? Why was he happy almost? Like, what was I wanted to see a different side to Seth, and it was almost like he's gone back into that bloody, when you see Randy Orton as a babyface, like they start becoming stupid all of a sudden and silly. Like I want to see a serious. I thought they kind of wasted the opportunity because let's be honest here. Like, if what happened, you get that news and then your so-called brother turns on you that night, well, that's kind of a big thing, and you thought, he'll come out quite hatred, and it'd be like Brian Pillman kind of style, you want to get this guy and do him in, but instead of that, it was played so badly. I thought, like, whoever come up with this really doesn't know great drama at all. Like, they completely got it wrong for me. Just to talk about that, Matt, I mean, we've had a lot of people saying, who is going to be the next face of the WWE at the moment, because will WWE be potentially looking at that? And of course they will be. But believe it or not, Matt, we've had a huge surge of people, really, even Jimbo, Wrestler Squad number 9, they're all pushing and they're all saying, watch out for Elias. They really think he's in line for this at the moment. I don't know what you think about that, Matt, but apparently a lot of people are saying he's in line for some big stuff for WWE in the next 12 months. What do you think about him going forward, Matt? He's had a few good segments on Raw last couple of weeks. Like he's almost done like sort of Rock kind of promos. He's kind of delivered on the spot, and he's one of the people that actually stays in character. I probably, when I said about Brock, he's another guy actually who does do that, because even when I watched that show he did on the network that you recommended, Matt, he even stayed in character for that, which was good. And it's just the little things he does, like when he stands outside Baron Corbin's, he's like, put your phone on silence and stuff like that. It's just those little things, those little details are good, and I feel like he gets the real hang of it. In those things, he's somebody again. I think we always say this, don't we, Matt? Whoever doesn't do well on NXT normally does incredible on the main roster. And Elias Sampson, when he was on NXT, barely done anything, and then he turned up as the Drifter and just saw him in the background, didn't we, at every sort of angle for the first few weeks. But this guy, wherever he is, as fans, when we go and watch him live, Matt, we like to be made fools of by Elias because he's funny about it and he's quite entertaining. What do you think about him, Matt? Has he got that star quality? Could he be that guy, or are we just wishing for too much here?
Oh no, I mean, it feels like it's much more even ground now, much like it was, say around 98, 99, 2000,
right. Yeah.
where the opportunities were there for people to grow in their characters and to shine. And I feel like now Elias has had this face turn just around about the right time, because the fans were there for him, and it just feels like now he's playing to them a bit more.
Yeah.
They're getting they was always behind him, but now it's more funny because now the people he's making fun of are people that they want to hate, such as Baron Corbin and that, and it's actually just going to generate more and more momentum for him. I feel like on the flip side of that, though, it's very unlucky for people such as Bobby Lashley, who had a heel turn recently, but if he had stayed in the face role, then he would have had a better time with this, because he was there, ready-made and ready to sort of step into Roman's kind of shoes there, as a big powerhouse guy, that you can get behind. But that's unlucky for him that momentum has sort of dropped off from him. So they do find themselves in a tough time. I feel like Seth is a kind of a go-to guy. I mean, definitely one of the hardest working people in the company. It's just the likability factor to him. Like, is it there? I know people do enjoy his in-ring work, but can you really, after the way they booked him in the past, the whole breaking up of the Shield originally, and becoming the number one despicable heel to now the I'm a reformed kind of guy. And this feud with Dean Ambrose just makes it even worse, because it's just like, well, you did it first, man, so
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, you could look at Dean Ambrose and go, Dean's right to have done that. Maybe Dean was just blaming. I mean, wouldn't it be great if Dean come out next week and was like, yeah, I did this because of what you did to us. You're the reason we spoke in the first place, so I got you before you got me again. That would turn it on its head. But it's almost like, like I said to you, Matt, earlier, I feel like if you're a long-term fan of wrestling, you're not rewarded by anything from WWE, because by having a long memory, it just makes it worse for you, the experience of what you're seeing now. And there's no continuity, or there's no consistency at all. Even when they got back together, I was like, why? Why on earth would they ever want that again? They've all gone their separate ways. They've all been champions. What's the point? But there you go. I mean, it's been rushed again, in my opinion. I would have liked to have seen Dean and Seth stay together for the sake of, let's support Roman and whatever. Let's bring a little bit of reality. And I think, they should have been more patient, because it's the sort of match that could go, all the way to a big event, like even a WrestleMania. But they've cashed this in way too early, and I'm not really sure that I'm that fussed and I'm buying into this as much as I need to be. It's going to take something really strong for me to really get into it. But do I think Dean suits being a heel and Seth suits being a face? Yes, I think they should have really looked at that in the first time around all this. If anything, Roman should have gone with Evolution. That would have made the most sense at that time, because by now Roman would have probably been the most valuable thing ever. He would have been way more of a bigger star, especially with the fans. He would have gone back as a babyface. At some point he would have had that match with Triple H, but it would have been a totally different concept of why they were having that match. But instead they didn't, and so I feel like it's been a downward spiral for a long time. And so I always felt bringing them back together, either keep them together. I don't know why groups always have to split up anyway. We've gone through this so many times. Like, geez, you know, the cool thing about looking back at groups is they stay together, and you know,